I graduated with my bachelor's from Cal Baptist University, and I always thought I would do my credential and master's degree there as well. But as I was approaching graduation, I was not sure I wanted to stay there. I had a great experience there, but I was ready for a change. I started looking into other schools, but a lot of them just had a master's in education. And I had also heard a lot about the Azusa Pacific program, and I knew many teachers that had gotten their degrees there. Then I met Rachel Jacobs, an APU representative at the Marietta Birthday Bash, and she told me about the Masters in Digital Teaching and Learning program. I loved that because I knew that was where education was headed. The students we are going to be teaching are growing up with technology at their fingertips, and I wanted to know how to incorporate it into the classroom. My goals for pursuing my master's degree were to continue my education to further learn how to be a better teacher. I wanted to learn how to incorporate technology into the classroom and about technologies and tools to use in the classroom that I didn't even know existed. My goal was to learn how to use technology and to allow students to get the most out of what they are learning. Throughout my educational journey, I have learned that I am a visual learner and a verbal linguistic learner. Even though I work well under pressure and always get my work done, I do not like putting that stress on myself because all I can really focus on is the task at hand. However, that is also what helps me get it done. This journey has been a long, hard year. I was a first-year teacher with all the changes that took place in the school system this year, enrolled in the induction program to clear my teaching credential, and I was enrolled in the master's program. And there were a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of prayer that took place, and I was constantly having to ask for God's strength and perseverance to help me through. After the first 2 quarters, I really wanted to stop and take a break. So there was a lot of prayer that went into that decision as well. In the end, I decided to stay the course and just finish. Earning a master's degree was a goal of mine, and it was an intense journey. There were several moments where I still wanted to take time off and resume it later, but my family encouraged me to keep going. I could not have accomplished my goal without my family. This degree not only helped me more in my field of study, but allowed me to be a better prepared teacher and to have more knowledge of resources to help and use with my students. In EDUC 512, Instructional Applications of Productivity Software, and EDUC 515, Emerging Trends in Educational Technology, I learned a lot about the iPad and different apps and educational websites. I also learned about WebQuest and how to make one. I was able to immediately implement it and use it with my students in my classroom. In 512, I also learned about the difference between digital natives and digital immigrants. Digital natives are people that have grown up around technology, where digital immigrants are ones that have not been around technology and have a difficulty learning it, or it is not natural to them. For digital natives, technology is second nature and they automatically use it. Digital immigrants have to make a conscious decision to use the technology, or it may be their second or third choice. In EDUC 522, Learning in the 21st Century, I learned all about the multiple intelligences and different technologies that would be the most beneficial to those with those intelligences and their learning. In EDUC 514, Digital Video in the Classroom, I learned all about the rules of photo composition and how to make an educational video that was engaging for students. My school is starting a number of after-school enrichment programs next year, one of which is going to be Technology Club. I hope to be joining and teaching this program and to continue using various technological tools I have already implemented in the classroom and to try some new ones. Next year, my students are going to be allotted much more one-to-one time with the Chromebooks. Now that we have Wi-Fi all over campus, I am looking forward to showing them how to do research and to use a lot of various tools. I want to show them how to use Powtoon and have them try using it as a presentation tool. I believe my students will be very interested and fascinated with this presentation tool. In 5 years, I see myself teaching elementary school fully integrated with technology. I see myself continuing to learn about upcoming technologies and strategies. Technology has already changed so much in the past 5 years, and it's going to change greatly in the next 5 to 10 years to come. With those changes mean continued researching and learning about new software and products. In the next 5 to 10 years, I plan on going back to school to earn certificates in various fields. One that I am particularly interested in is a GATE certificate. I feel that it is easy to differentiate for the lower students, but I have a much more difficult time coming up with ideas to challenge my higher students. And that a GATE certificate would really benefit me and allow me to come up with very unique ideas to challenge these higher students. In my third grade class, I have a disruptive student who cannot sit in his seat and is always fidgeting and being disruptive in class. He is always calling out and off task and rushes through his work. I have a clip chart where students have the opportunity to move the clips up for positive behavior and down as a consequence for not following directions, classroom rules, or procedures. His parents were contacted and made aware of his behavior, but it did not seem to change. He was missing recess after recess, and it did not have an effect on him. I needed a strategy to recognize his positive behavior so that he could be able to stay on task and not disrupt his classmates or when I was teaching. My hope was that recognizing his positive behavior would turn his behavior around. I created a behavior plan where the student was provided a weekly calendar with 6 smiley faces for each day of the week, and it was taped to his desk. Every time I saw him displaying a positive behavior, I colored in a smiley face. If the student earned 6 stamps in a day, he earned a prize from the prize box. The student earned smiley faces for being on task, for turning in homework, working responsibly with a partner, or for displaying respect to me or by showing me he was listening and paying attention during lessons. Overall, the behavior plan was not effective for this particular student. Tuesdays and Thursdays tended to be better days for him, which was interesting, and I'm not sure what was different about those days to change his behavior. The only thing that was different about our schedule in class was that Thursdays we had music. And I also don't know what personal matters may have had an effect on his behavior either. But overall, there was no consistency in his behavior. On average, the student earned 7.6 smiley faces a week when he had the opportunity to earn 30. And so overall, it just wasn't effective for him. And an adjustment that may be needed if I were to do it again or if I were to continue on with him would be to lower the amount of smiley faces that the student needs to earn to something like 4 a day to make it seem more attainable, and then after the student consistently earned 4 smiley faces, then I can increase it and add more a day to promote further positive behavior. This would be my next step in the time to come if I were able to continue on, if I had more time in the year. And if there continued to be no consistency, I would revisit the drawing board and try a different strategy. But my school year came to an end and I couldn't continue with this particular student. But I would definitely try the strategy again and keep it in mind to use for maybe students in the future. Because even though it wasn't effective with this particular student, I could see how it could definitely work with other students. Mine just got tired of the prize box, so that was no longer a motivation because he didn't. So I needed to be able to find other things that might motivate him. The best part about the research process is having to collect the data and getting to see if the strategy implementation really is effective or not. When the strategy is not working or effective, it allows one to go back to the drawing board to try something different or tweak the process a little and see if it makes a difference. Where with this, looking at his chart of smiley faces, I was able to see that it really wasn't working and it wasn't being effective for him. And if I had had that more time with him, I would have definitely reduce the amount of smiley faces to make that goal more attainable for him and for him to feel successful. And maybe perhaps that would have changed his behavior a little bit more because he would have felt that success and been able to see, okay, I can do this, this is what I'm expected to do, and then go from there. But overall, it was a very smooth process, and I was able to learn from it, and will probably continue to use it next year in my teaching practice.